In the last lesson video, I went ahead and used a switch statement to help decide on which radio button was selected and then to execute code based on that selection only. In this lesson, I'm going to go ahead and look at using another conditional statement called the if statement. And what I want to do on this with the if statement is I want to prevent any of my code that will execute when a radio button is selected from actually running if there's no value in the bill amount text box. So what I mean by that is, if I look at the graphical layout here, I do not want the 10%, 15%, 20%, or other radio buttons executing any code if there's no value entered in the enter bill amount edit text. And what that'll do is it will help prevent me from trying to run mathematical calculations on no value at all, which could cause errors. So I'm going to switch back over to my main activity.java file, and I need to scroll down to that on radio group 1 click method that we've been working with. And you can see here I have str bill amount. I have a string already holding the value of whatever is typed inside of that particular text box. I'm going to use that string because I'm going to use a utility function called textUtils that's going to allow me to look to see if that text box is empty, and it's going to require a string value. So I'll use that string str bill amount. I'll just paste down the double bill amount here. And let's go ahead and begin our if statement. To start it, I just type in if. I'll have an opening and closing parenthesis. And within that opening and closing parenthesis, that's going to be my condition to test for to see if it's true or not, and whether or not the code needs to be executed. And I'm going to start now, after the opening and closing parenthesis, with an opening curly brace. And that's going to start my conditional statement if the value is true. And it's going to go until I close it with a closing curly brace. And I need to put a closing curly brace between the switch statement's closing curly brace and the method's closing curly brace. And you can see I've got an error at the moment. That's because I'm currently missing a closing curly brace. So I'll go ahead and put one on my line 76 here. And that will mean that the if statement will start here on line 57 and execute all the way down to line 76 here. Everything in here is going to be contained within my if statement, and it will not execute unless this condition is met. So let's go ahead and give ourselves a condition. I told you I need to use the function textUtils, so I'm going to go ahead and type in textUtils dot, and then I have a method here called isEmpty, and I'll go ahead and put an opening and closing curly brace there, and you'll see that automatically entered in str. It's looking for a string to determine if there's any value within there. So I need to go ahead and pass in there str bill amount. So I'll type in str, and you can see there I can select that str bill amount. Okay, so it's checking to see if it's empty. Now I have to reverse my logic here a little bit, and let me explain why. At the moment, it's going to test to see if it's empty, and if it is empty, if that condition is true, it's going to execute this code. Well, that's the opposite of what I really wanted. So what I need to do now is I need to reverse the logic. I need to say if it is not empty. And what I need to do for that is before the textUtils function, I need to put in there an exclamation mark. And that means give me the opposite of this. So it may sound a little confusing, but what I'm looking to do is if it is not empty, then it's going to go ahead and execute this code. And what we've just done is prevented possible errors in the future because we can't do math calculations on no value at all.